than to be standing in the footsteps here, the shoes of Bradley Manning to receive an award in his name or for him. We've shared similar some awards in the past. I've always included, when I was asked or informed for any awards or honors as I was applying for something, I've always started with the 12-count federal indictment for releasing the Pentagon Papers, and I'm sure that Bradley Manning in the future, when he is listing his awards for who's who or whatever, will want to list his current indictment. That hasn't tried to come to trial yet. He will have spent probably close to 1,000 days before he comes to trial in pre-trial confinement. Much of it, as you know, in a very small cell, an isolation cell, a form of torture, actually, which is disgraceful to our government and should by now have led to this trial being dismissed the way mine was, and for the very same reason. Gross governmental misconduct that reveals offends a sense of justice. Those are the words my federal judge used about the crimes that were revealed against me. The trial, I would say that Bradley Manning is clearly subject to crimes of the same sort, the same magnitude in terms of his long confinement. Now, I have a friend named Mordecai Badu who spent 18 years in prison in Israel for revealing the facts that Israel was a nuclear power. Something, by the way, that our president, none of our presidents, have found themselves able to reveal that particular ambiguous fact. He spent 11.5 years in a cell even smaller than Bradley's. And I can say, having told me this several times, he never for a moment regretted having done what he felt was the right thing. I'm sure that Bradley Manning, if he suffers the kind of sentence that they are posing for him, which involves a life sentence, possible death. They said they won't ask for the death penalty, but it's a possibility with the absurd charge they have raised for him, namely giving aid and comfort to the enemy, which is an appalling charge. There may be somebody very clearly, all of you know him as one of those patriotic people you can find, and really, in effect, has said, like Nathan Hale, who was hanged in this country for giving secrets to Americans, and by the British, I regret I have but one life to give for my country. In the very chat logs that are being used as the basis for the indictment, he said, I wouldn't mind going to prison for life, or even be executed. As I say, a charge which he may not ask for, but which he stands under the shadow that the judge could, in fact, inflict that. But even a life sentence, how many of us, I won't ask for hands here, but how many of us have in life said, I'm ready to go to prison for life, or even be executed in order to do this or that. Some of you I know have been in combat. We regard that as a routine form of courage that we demand of the young men and women, even if they are drafted by the economy. Once they get over there, we expect them to be willing to give their lives for their country. Well, we don't expect that of our officials, of our civilians, and that's what's needed very much. Bradley Manning was quoted here, said that what he wanted was this: God knows what happens now, he said, hopefully worldwide discussion, debates, and reforms. If not, then we're doomed as a species. I will officially give up on the society we have if nothing happens. Well, he doesn't have to give up on whatever happens. As I've already indicated, I think that even if he suffers the maximum penalty that is being opposed to it, I do not expect that he will regret, if he did what he's accused of, that he will regret having done that. And unlike my friend Mordecai who revealed the Israel nuclear capabilities that were much larger, he revealed, than even CIA had estimated, Mordecai had nothing to show for that. the truth that he gave rise to debate and information and discussion in places like Tunisia. And in fact, 2 weeks before Mohammed Bouazizi burned himself, 3 weeks, burned himself to death in Tunis, there was a tremendous underground discussion going on in an internet blog called WikiLeaks, repeating stuff that come out from the State Department cables, allegedly released by Bradley Manning, revealing not just the corruption of the Tunis government, which Tunisians, this was old news to Tunisians, but that the U.S. government knew of it, revealing there was one more instance of how we knowingly back up the human rights violators all over the world, not every one of them, just a lot of them. And not human rights, just a lot of them. Someone asked tonight, why is Bradley Manning was a hero, but why is he a human rights, award? We're talking about human rights all over the world, and as he said in the chat box, said what the 260,000 cables reveal is how the first world exploits the third. So, as you know from the very cable video that was released, we see murder being done by our own troops in this particular case. If any of you have any doubt as to whether it was murder, I'll explain it to you afterwards as someone who used to teach the laws of war to my company in the Marine Corps. Very clearly murder. The corruption generally that we supply and support all over the world led to this instance, to unprecedented, along with Mohammed Bouazizi's further sacrifice. Those two individuals, plus Assange, releasing the material, led to uprisings of a non-violent nature, an army nature, into these, which within weeks actually got rid of that particular human rights violating corrupt dictator, and leading immediately to the Occupy Tahrir Square movement in Egypt, the Liberation Square, which, as we know, in turn was the inspiration for the Occupy Wall Street movement in this country. So Bradley Manning can read the news and feel that the kind of debate and discussion that he wanted, and he said, hopefully reform and change, is actually underway, and in some countries has actually been experienced. It's up to us now to follow that inspiration. And your award, showing our appreciation for the people who give us the secrets about the people who commit the crimes, is very may inspire future truth-telling that will serve human rights worldwide. I must say, this award, which is extremely welcome, will be welcome to Bradley, and I'm so proud to receive it for him, doesn't come with the money that he needs for his trial. Jeff Patterson here, the Bradley Manning Support Network, right there, stand up here, will that be the checks. I couldn't believe that. I think the checks anyway to the Bradley